Welcome to the podcast with your favorite cash flow guys, Mike and Blaine. Giving you the best advice while having a beer. When you're running a business, there are problems every day. Let Mike and Blaine help you out and guide your way. Cheers to the good times with Mike and Blaine for business, beer, and BS.
Hey, it's Mike and Blaine. I'm Mike Mylan, also known as Cashflow Mike. That is my partner, Blaine Birch of Dry Run. What's up, my man? Welcome to 117.
117. I get excited every week. It's like, it just keeps going up every week. So that's a nice big number. I'm excited for this one, man. It's going to be fun. And it's, I'm excited for this one. I'm excited to have a beer and chat some business, right?
Did you see the spike in downloads last week? What the hell? What happened?
I know. So whoever out there, if you guys know what happened, we just had a giant spike in downloads last week. I don't know why, but we're grateful. And it was last week's episode. It wasn't like more subscribers that we see every once in a while. Just last week's episode, just pile of downloads, and we're quite excited about that. So thanks for the support. Thanks for listening.
And I'm thinking, well, maybe it was a group of people that we know. Maybe it's friends. Maybe it's this, that, and the other. But no,
we don't have that many friends.
We got like 3 friends. But this was all over the place. There was no one. I mean, there was. It went from Florida to California to up to Canada. I mean, there were some Germany ones. I mean, what happened to this podcast? It was crazy.
That's cool. I didn't see that where they were coming from. That's really cool to see. So, hey, thanks for listening over in Germany, and that's awesome. Hopefully you're listening again this week.
Yeah, so it's been fantastic. It's a run. It's 117 episodes, and we talk about it all the time of, hey, how do you do that? I mean, it's consistent week after week after week, and I can only pinpoint one thing is, dude, I just like talking to you.
I know, me too. Like we've said before, we'd be like, we would do this anyway. Like we'd be on here talking anyway. In fact, just so you guys know, like Mike and I were on for about an hour and a half before the episode even started. Took a quick break, and now we're back onto this because we were BSing. And I was getting Mike. I was getting some valuable feedback from Mike on the latest build of Dry Run. So that was super valuable. I really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, I mean, well, I tell you what. I mean, I've been fortunate enough to know Dry Run for 5+ years, 7 years. I when were you founded? When we were founded?
Well, we rolled out in 16. You probably didn't know about us then because we were little. It was me and Tarek. That was it. But maybe I don't know. We got a little press right out of the gate. So who knows, right?
Yeah, it could be. I mean, it was somewhere back then because I built Cashflow Tool, and it was one of those things where we're looking at the landscape. Who else is doing this? And your name came up, and I think that's just how it started, right? So if you think out there that you see somebody that's your competition, maybe not. That could be your best friend in disguise.
Exactly, it worked for us, and man, and we got introduced through this, right? So that's I got to be so grateful to us both being involved in Cashflow because that's what we got hooked up here. So it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, right on. So all right, so let's talk about what we're drinking, right? Remember, if you're new to the show, right? Because again, we got this big spike, so you don't know what to expect, right? This is a show about business, beer, and BS, right? So you're going to get a healthy dose of all three every single time. We're on episode 117, and I swear I put do not disturb. Why are all these dings and pings? Is it me? It must be me somehow. I don't know. But anyway, what we're trying to do is work for the small business owner, right? It's about serving others. We're always trying to serve the small business owner. We're working for them because I built 14 companies now. So I think the stories that come out, are just amazing because Blaine and I's conversations, it always sparks something else that's happened in our life that I hope we can share and that you can learn, and you can either shortcut your own life, do it faster, do it better, make more money, create that unicorn. That's what we're trying to do is give you the tools that you need to really propel yourself in the world. So that's what this show's about.
It's all about, and also what we got scolded a few weeks ago that we should at least at the start of the show tell people what we do because we do not do a very good job of promoting ourselves. So I'm just going to dive in here really quick and then pass it back over to Mike. I'm co-founder and CEO at Dry Run. Dry Run is a cash flow forecasting scenario modeling software. And, you know, I'm going to tell you a little story. We released our new release of Dry Run just recently, had a really cool new onboarding wizard that walks people through. And we had a CFO last week connect to Dry Run, got a client file in under 3 minutes, looked at it and said, oh my God, this is ready to ship to the client. Like this was the conversation starter, just from start to finish in under 3 minutes. And the complexity of what he was working with would have taken him an entire week to build in a spreadsheet, and then even harder to explain. So if you're a CPA out there, come and talk with us. If you're a business owner, we'll do the same. We'll get you up and running in a few minutes, modeling scenarios, figuring out what's happening in your business and what's happening in your cash flow. So that's what we do at Dryrun, dryrun.com. Oh, and I gotta mention, if you're listening to us live, we haven't done this in years, but we know it's tricky out there. It's difficult out there. And like Mike said, we want to support small business. We are doing a Black Friday sale for the first time in years. I think we did it maybe the year we launched because we just didn't know what else to do. We are doing a Black Friday sale this year to make it easier on business owners to get started with Dry Run. So come and talk with us and we'll get you going.
Yeah, right on. So, and I tell you, I just got to see the new rollout of the onboarding experience and the things you're doing over Dry Run. It just keeps getting better. Month after month, it just keeps getting better.
Appreciate it so much. And I also thank you for shredding us a new one every once in a while, because I do appreciate that too.
hey, I still love you. I still love you.
No, I love it. That's why I want to show you Dry Run, because you're gonna see stuff that no one else sees, and you're gonna be honest, and you're gonna point stuff out, and that's how we make stuff better. That's how Dry Run, I think, has improved so much since we released this new Dry Run 2 in June. Was from customer after customer, user after user, and you and other friends coming in and helping us make it better. So I really appreciate it.
Right on. So hey, that's Dry Run. I'm Cash Flow Mike. What I do is I teach people how to maximize cash in their small business. Little story, right? I've got a client I've been working with for a year now, and when we met last January, his January to June in 2022, so the year before he met me, he lost $200,000 from January to June. This year, January to June 2023, working with me for just 6 months, reversed the trend. He now made $200,000. So that's a $400,000 swing just by paying attention to cash. So if you are struggling, if you feel like you're staying awake at night, if you can't sleep, if all you think about is how I'm going to pay a bill, contact me, cashflowmike.com. Go there, at least download my free book of the 7-minute conversation, how to analyze your company in 7 minutes or less. Start there and then get my free resources in my Facebook group, The Clear Path to Cash. So that's what I'm giving. I'm in the giving spirit right now.
We are, and you. That honestly doesn't surprise me a bit. I know there's probably people out there going 400,000. I'm like, no, I know that you help a company do that, and we've seen companies do that, because it's amazing what you can do with just a little bit of insight, a little bit of knowledge, process, and systems. There's no magic, but boy, so building in those processes and systems can help you immensely. So,
all right, so. We're drinking beer, right? We're drinking beer. You got some beer sponsors. Let's get that out of the way. Let's drink some beer.
Yeah. All right. I guess should I dive in first with mine? Because I'm going to show you what. So I always do a beer based on our topic. And today we're actually talking about virtual assistants and virtual tools that can help you as a business. And so I was looking and I thought, well, sometimes they can be a dead end. So I picked Great Notion, Dead End, Hazy IPA. I will say that this was a stretch. I had some better ones. They're all over like 11%. And I just thought, no, I got a meeting after this. So I'm going to do Great Notion because it's a little lighter. But Great Notion makes outstanding beer, though, by the way. So well worth checking them out. What do you got?
I got to. I never match the topic like you do. You just always seem to be kind of right on theme. I'm never even close. But I found a new brewery, right? I found a brand new
right.
brewery to me, so I was excited about it. And I'm trying to figure out where they're out of. They're out of Boulder, Colorado, right? And they're called
Nice.
Avery Brewery. Avery Brewery, and
Avery.
You know Avery? See, I didn't know
I've
about
had
it.
a ton of Avery. They have some outstanding. They have some really great barrel aged stouts. I got to mention that. You got to check some Avery barrel aged stuff out.
But it was like going, hey, it's just like it's from Colorado, as it says. But I mean, it was called Hop Freak. So I'm expecting that big, bold flavor. I'm expecting that just punch right in the mouth with hops from Clear Horizons. But it was an interesting can, right? I mean, we always look for the interesting can, which means it had so many different things, and it reminds me of the trails. It reminds me of you know the signs that you see in national parks and stuff like that. You know, all the badges and things. So I've got big high hopes for Avery Brewing out of Boulder, Colorado. So cheers to you.
Nice. Yeah, no, they're an outstanding brewery. And okay, we want to talk about our beer sponsors. I'm going to do two. Mike's going to do one. Thank you so much, Larry Weinstein. I'm going to mention again. Saw Larry a couple of weeks ago. We had a great time sitting at Goldwater Brewing. Neighbor Pat, who keeps feeding us beer over and over again and keeps bringing stuff down the hill to Mike. So that's so cool. And I'm going to pass over to you to talk about Rachel.
Well, I got to say something about neighbor Pat, right? He doesn't know this, so this is a test. See if he's listening today live. I bought him a Just Giving Her shirt. Remember a couple episodes I said I'm gonna have a Just Giving Her shirt on the show, because if you're gonna buy merch from us, that's the one to have. That Just Giving Her shirt. I think it says Just Giving Her, Mike and Blaine down below, because that's what we do every single week. We just give her, right?
Yeah.
But I bought him one. He says, "Oh, you don't have one my size." Oh, I made you one your size.
Sweet.
Made you one. So that's the type of service we're going to give here, that personalized touch. You have it coming. I think it's going to be here around the 27th or so. So that's kind of cool.
Nice.
But let me tell you about Rachel Barnett, right? Rachel has a company called Gentle Frog, and Gentle Frog is going to train you on how to use QuickBooks. If you're somebody out there that doesn't know how to use QuickBooks, if you're somebody out there that says, I need to understand a lot better, a lot more of what's going on and how to use this QuickBooks, contact Gentle Frog, because they will take you from 0 to 60. I mean, I'm talking about from knowing nothing to being quasi-expert, and she will guide you with precision, with care, and with empathy, because that's what we all need when we're learning. I'm telling you, if you don't know QuickBooks, contact Rachel. I mean, she is a big supporter. She just renewed her sponsorship. She just ran it out. Yep. She's got we got what, almost 6 months worth of beer sponsors now lined up.
We've been going for since last spring. I think we've been going on beer sponsors. We are just, which is outstanding, you guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Rachel. She's going to be like carrying on into the new year, I think, maybe with she will. That's awesome. That's so sweet.
Right. Hey, but don't let that scare you away, because we can take and accept more beer sponsors. So don't think that like, oh, you already have enough. Nope, we don't have enough. Nope. We need you and your beer as well. But more importantly, we got an email. I'm gonna tease it because I don't know where it's gonna go. We got an email from another company that wants to be a main mid-roll sponsor, right? Instead of Mike or instead of Blaine, it's a new company. Remember how we did My Life in a Book last year? We found another company. Yeah, we found another company. So this company, I hope we can come to terms. I hope we can put something together, because I'd love to have another mid-roll sponsor. And if it's not them, it could be you. So contact us and we will talk about you mid-show, every show that you sponsor. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. This has been awesome. We've just been going for weeks here. And I got to tell you, when you're talking about Pat's t-shirt, because he bought him a shirt, I got to say, Mike, before Mike and I met in person for the first time, Mike actually bought a Mike and Blaine shirt and brought it to me. First time and he bought an extra large. And I'm not an extra large. I held it up, and it was like the size of a tent. And Mike, the only thing he said is, "You're schmedium." And I'm like, "Well, I'm not large, or not extra large." Like
before that, I'd never seen you in person. I'm like going, I think he's about my size. Well, apparently not.
I will say since my COVID weight I put on, I've actually trimmed up a fair bit. So I'm a little bit slimmer now and I'm feeling pretty good. But this was a big shirt, a really big shirt.
And I mean, as you can probably tell, I'm one of those husky Midwestern kids.
You're not as husky as you keep saying you are. So I don't even think you're an XL, but anyway, but yeah.
Oh, dude, I'm XL, sometimes two X's in front of the L.
That's if you're wearing it baggy, really baggy.
I don't like to be tight. I don't like to be restricted. So, hey,
I think so, but anyway, go.
Hey, here's what I'm thinking. This virtual assistance thing. It comes. The only reason I picked it as a topic is that it gets put in front of me, I think, almost weekly now. Some way, somehow, somebody's talking about it. Do I need it? Do you want it? Here I have it. And I got to tell you, I just don't know. But the way these are going, like the more sponsors and the more things that's happening, I'm like going, well, maybe I could use a little assistance. But when do you choose that I need some help? When do you choose that I should have somebody that actually works with me, that comes into the office and works with me, or works remote with me, or a virtual assistant from one of these companies? That's a big deal, right? To make that decision.
Yeah, and I've never used a virtual assistant. I don't know how you when you find that point, but there is a point, right? And I kind of think one of the ways I would actually look at it, if I was getting to the point where I thought I could probably use a virtual assistant, and I don't think I'm there. I'm not totally sure. I think the first thing I would do is actually pull out a calendar and map it out. And I remember an advisor of mine several years ago had me map out my calendar and I color coded it. And it was like, meetings with, like customers or potential customers, but then there's meetings with others, like meetings with investors and advisors and everything else, and banks and legal and everything else. And then time spent on app, time spent here, and he had me color code. And so I could start to identify, first of all, if there were too much of one color and how much time I was spending on things. But I think for a virtual assistant, I would probably look at it the same way, as actually quantify it rather than just kind of guessing and go like, what's going on in my calendar week to week and month to month? And can somebody take some of this off my shoulders? And can somebody save a bunch of time, right?
Yeah, it's an interesting option, right? Because what we're talking about is scaling in some form or the other. Like you're scaling because there's too much for you to do personally,
yeah.
Or maybe you're scaling because if you had a little bit more time, you could grow, right? So it's like going, I either need help to just get me some time, or I need help because I got some other things I want to do. And if I had a few of these tasks put off. So to me, I have looked at it. I have war gamed it. I have tried to find, what it is. And some of the things I do, I don't know that, well, okay, I could find a way to find a virtual assistant to do some of these things, but I'd have to spend a lot of time up front. Right. I've got to really define the process. I've got to really define, the communication decision tree. If they need this, they need to do that. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm not there. So I feel like a virtual assistant right now would fail in my world, because sometimes I just do it because I know it. And I didn't document it because I just know it.
Yeah. And it's like in my businesses, I've never had an assistant ever, but I find that it's taking, it was always hiring staff that was taking away maybe some of the operational tasks that I was doing. That's not an assistant. That's an expert in this area, that they do it way better than me anyway. It takes, so for me, and maybe it has a lot to do with, again, like looking at your calendar and looking at like, would it actually help with what you do as a business? Because they're going to help maybe schedule stuff. It's so easy to schedule now. Like literally I send Calendly links and people book. Like I have trouble personally seeing where they could pick up the load for me. But what I do want to say is when you said virtual assistant, immediately I thought of producer Chad. Like where does AI come in versus a personal assistant, right?
All right, so I use producer Chad right all the time. I call him intern Chad though, because
Intern Chad, yeah.
yeah, he's intern Chad to me. So
For those that are new to this, it's Chat GPT we're talking about. We call him producer Chad. So
yeah, because I mean, if we need stuff, I mean, Chad will do it. but here's the thing: I need things like file organization. I need things like reminders about tasks. I need somebody to help follow up on little stuff that it's just little things, right? It's just the stuff that that I think is tedious that we can automate, either automate, or sometimes you can't automate it, but you got these frequently asked questions where I've got the same response for different people at different times. I need somebody that, and AI isn't there yet in my books, where I can listen to what you said or read what you wrote and send you the right response. And for me, it's like going, oh, well, when you do this, I send you this response. But
yeah.
I think a virtual assistant can do that, but you got to train them on what you see in their writing to be able to know what they're talking about. And
Yeah.
that doesn't happen overnight. That's the training process that you got to go through.
Yeah. And it's like I've always said, it's for the basics, it's like 3 months of training before somebody's really effective as a new staff member generally. Right. I will say I had a bit of an experience yesterday. I was in a session, like a webinar type session yesterday, and they were talking about ChatGPT. And I'm like, well, I use it here and there. I actually probably use it a fair bit. Is it worth my time to sit in on this? And really, like they showed a bunch of stuff. I'm like, yeah, whatever, good. The thing that was worthwhile is they literally said it's worth it to upgrade to 4.
Okay.
That was literally the message I got out of it. Is it's worth upgrading to 4. So I
but
upgraded.
Tell me why. Why did they say it was worth it before you did? What?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
And I asked them, and they said, well, first of all, they said that the responses will be much more sort of sophisticated. I don't know what the exact wording they used. It isn't based on it's based on a much more recent data set. Like it's right up to date. They said the prompts you can give it are much more involved. Like you can say, hey, look at this website and that website and do this and that. There's a bunch of stuff. I don't even know where the stop line with the free version and the start line with paid begins. But I'll tell you a little thing. So I've got it yesterday and I started playing around with it. And what I wanted to do is see, could it help me with some messaging and outlines? And I was comparing like my experience with it. And I was using it for a while and I'm like, nah, I don't know. It seems exactly the same. Then a thing popped up on my screen and said, you might want to try ChatGPT 4. And I thought, well, that's what I just freaking paid for. What are you talking about? And then I saw this little tab at the top. Even though I paid for it, it still kept me in 3.5. So I changed to 4 and I copied something, pasted it in. Here's where it got interesting. When it types it out, you know how fast it types? 4.0 typed at about the third the speed. It kept pausing and waiting and thinking, and then it would go on and pause and wait and think. And the content it wrote was so much better because I had been messing with this stuff in what I thought was 4, but it wasn't. And as soon as I flipped over to 4, I'm like, oh shit, that's a lot better. A lot better.
What does it cost to upgrade?
$20 a month.
Oh, yeah,
it's not expensive. It's not expensive. And I was shocked and I looked at it and thought, I'm going to play with this a little more. And I want to see how far we can stretch this because, I've used it to help with some writing before. Like again, it does a rough draft for you. You have to go through everything. You have to input really good, detailed, sort of structure, but it can flow the text for you, right? Like it can do a really good job with that. But it sounded weird, but it seemed like this was way more insightful. And you can do things like go look at these websites of competitors and look at my website and tell me what they're doing or how we differ. Like it can do stuff that maybe the other one could do it, but it sure didn't seem like it. This thing is pretty sophisticated.
Let's do a live test on virtual assistants saying in one sentence, you put it in 4.0, I'll put it in
gotcha.
whatever hell I'm in. All right.
Okay.
We're going to say, here's the sentence we're going to type in.
Okay.
In one sentence, tell me why I should hire a virtual assistant. Ask it that.
It'll probably won't know, but anyways. Let's see how good my typing is. Oh, dead air is always so great. Okay, here we go. One sentence. Okay, what did this might be too simple of a question, but what did it say? What did it tell you?
All right, so 3.5 says this. Hiring a virtual assistant can significantly enhance your productivity and business efficiency by delegating routine tasks, allowing you to focus on strategic aspects of your work. What 4.0 say?
Yeah, pretty much same thing. Hiring a virtual assistant can significantly boost your productivity by handling routine tasks, allowing you to focus on more critical aspects of your work or business. So, okay, let's try this. I'm going to try this and go.
All right, so that didn't work.
That one was, because I think it has to be more sophisticated probably, but write a tagline for Mike and Blaine.com podcast. And I want to see what it says. Oh, okay, I got one here. I don't know if it's actually very good, to be honest, but it's looking at our website, so maybe that isn't the best thing for it to look at.
Right, which one you got?
It says Mike and Blaine unboxing conversations one episode at a time.
That seems better, because mine is Mike and Blaine navigating the waves of business wisdom, one insightful podcast at a time. You're not selling. You're not selling. Huh?
It feels like the wording is better in both instances, but I think the thing, this isn't a great test, because where I found that it was a lot better was I kept like inputting information and asking for it to refine it, and inputting information, and asking for it to refine it. And then when I pasted in this sort of summary at the end and said, give me some stuff based on this, it had gone through a bunch of layers and levels, and it came out. And I will say it's a little bit like what we saw here is the wording was a lot better. The just, even if it said a similar thing, it wasn't so, like what you said sounded kind of AI-ish. But this, Mike and Blaine, unboxing conversations one episode at a time, is better than whatever that was kind of complicated and wordy, right? So I don't know if that might be bullshit, but
yeah, it could be. All right, so did I ever tell you Chat GPT or Chad punked me one time?
No, I want to hear. Yeah.
Absolutely punked me, right? So I was being a smart ass, right? And I said,
shocking.
Tell me some unknown reasons why people have cash flow problems. Think about the way I worded that question. And it didn't respond. You know why? Because they're unknown.
Yeah, that's
there was no response. It just sat there. It didn't even respond. It didn't say, hi, Mike. It didn't say, kiss my ass. It didn't say anything. It just said nothing. It just blinked. like that was it.
Let me try that. I want to put that one in here because I'm curious. Okay, so you said, tell me.
Yeah, tell me some unknown reasons why people have cash flow problems or something like that. And I think it was the word unknown that freaked it out.
Yeah. I can see that. Even if you said little known, it probably would. Oh, no, actually, look at this. Cash flow problems can arise from a variety of lesser known reasons. Poor inventory management, holding too much inventory ties up funds, while too little lead time. It goes on and on. Unforeseen expenses, inefficient payment processes, market changes. Credit terms mismatch.
Did you say little known or unknown?
Oh, that's interesting. I wrote little unknown. Yeah, okay. Here, tell me some unknown reasons why people have cash flow problems. It said cash flow problems can arise from a variety of lesser known reasons: poor inventory management, unforeseen expenses, inefficient payment processes, market changes, credit terms mismatch, overexpansion, dependence on a few big clients, currency
now,
fluctuation. No, I'm calling this bullshit.
I said unknown. You gave me lesser known.
Yeah, I said bullshit. Those are lesser known. I want unknown. Okay, so this is interesting. Look at what it's saying here. Understanding truly unknown reasons for cash flow problems involves delving more into the obscure and nuanced factors that are often overlooked in traditional financial analysis. And it goes through behavioral biases, technology obsolescence, environmental changes, social media impact, cultural misunderstandings. Like, it's going deep here. This is like psychological health of management. Like, okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay, interesting. It's diving in deep here, man.
So that's like a coworker that when you ask them for something, they just overwhelm you with bullshit. And you're like, yeah, I'm not gonna ask you a question again because I just get way too much from you, right?
I will say that it actually, like, the stuff they put, it's kind of interesting though. Like, it's kind of interesting. It's not probably what the answer, like, I wouldn't look at this and go, that's interesting. Like, I'd write a blog post on or something. It is interesting because it's a totally different list, and it goes one big step deeper on things you might not know. Like, let's delve deeper. That's interesting that it came up with that. It's not superficial. It went deep there.
Right. Say, hey, speaking of going deep, I understand there's a cash flow forecasting software out there called Dry Run. Why don't you tell us about that?
Black Friday sale. Take advantage of it, because we have only done this once before, and I don't know if we'll do it next year. We just decided, we're like, businesses are suffering, because you and I have been doing this on the show lately. Businesses are struggling with their cash flow. They're struggling with everything, inflation and all the post-COVID stuff and all that stuff. So we're trying to help. But Dry Run gives you a look at the future. It's going to basically, we're trying to help future-proof your business, so that you're not just looking at your cash flow and going, okay, what's happening to my cash flow a few weeks out? What's happening in my sales pipeline 6 months out? What if I want to expand? What if I have to reduce my costs? What if? You can model all that out in Dry Run. And so we can get you started, connect your accounting software. We will give you a bunch of, like, we'll set it up in a couple of minutes. Or you can literally go in and just start modeling stuff. You might want to check your pricing on different products. You might, we can model all this stuff out. That's all we're about, modeling the future and showing you what's happening in your business. Just come and see us, dryrun.com.
Nice. And I got to tell you, I have seen it today. It keeps getting better. I keep telling you that. And I that's all I can say is it keeps getting better. Right. And you should have it. So
yeah, appreciate it.
Let me go back to this virtual assistant thing, right? Because I think Chad is a virtual assistant of sorts. It's $20 a month, right?
Yeah,
for a little bit better of sorts. Because I use it, right? I used it this week to apply for an award. I got invited to apply for an award, and I crafted. Oh wow!
Get a little thumbs up from Apple.
I gave it a thumbs up, but I crafted my answers. And I'm like, hey, I'm trying to answer this question. Rewrite my answer to be better. And it was better on all questions. So I'm like going, well, that works, because it wouldn't have known how to answer those questions. But if I can give it enough guidance, it can make it sound more persuasive.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. So I think it's good for helping you communicate with text. I think that's the best case scenario.
Yeah, it is. I was just trying to remember a name of another product, because I also have Grammarly that I plug into things, and it's amazing what ChatGPT can help you. Like, you can go, like, here's my thoughts, here's a rough outline. You can start to just write some stuff out so they can get you started. You can edit it, and then Grammarly can help you sort of edit it. And it's amazing how much quicker it is to get your thoughts out. Like it doesn't technically it writes it, but it's like, yeah, you probably have to really edit pretty heavy. Like it's bullshit in, bullshit out. So you gotta give it something to go on. But boy, can it save time of crafting the words and crafting the sentences. And then Grammarly, its AI goes in, and it's funny because it's like it'll go to ChatGPT and go, "Nah, you guys suck at English," and it'll like fix it even further, right? Like you guys cannot write at all, and it's kind of funny. But those two tools together can shortcut a lot. And for a business that, like for us, we're a small business, we're trying to get really good content out there. I don't want to spend days typing, writing. I want to get my ideas out there. I want to get my thoughts out there. I would rather go like, here's what I got to get out. Here's the meat. Here's the important stuff. Craft it. I'll edit it. And it's 1/10 of the time.
No, that's a perfect way to use it, right? Here's the meat. I needed to say this. I needed to exude this. I needed to prove this, right? And it helps. It's very helpful. What I think of virtual assistant, though, it isn't that. I don't need you to do that. One of the biggest projects is I look for things on my computer. I have really screwed up my file organization. It just happens. It's loose organization. It's hard to find shit. There's weird stuff in there from 10 years ago that shouldn't be there. I would love it if a virtual assistant could help me just organize a file cabinet inside my computer where I can find it. The thing is, can they do it? Can they actually organize things to where it makes sense to me?
That's going to be a real challenge because there's only so many, like you could have an AI go in and say, okay, let's just look at the last time you used your file. It's a little bit like Apple, like on my iPhone. Oh, we haven't used this app in a while. We're just going to like delete it off your phone and you can download it again later if you want to use it. It's all based on date, but that doesn't mean it's based on how important something is. And I don't think it's going to, even a virtual assistant, like a person, I don't know if they'd be able to tell how important that is because here's a great example. Okay. I have a file on my laptop that's got all my business numbers on it, GST numbers and all that kind of stuff. I rarely use it. Then suddenly someone says, what's your GST number? And I just need to go and find it. I don't want it filed in a place where I can't find it. It's important at the time, but I'm not using it very often, right? That kind of context is what I think is going to be really difficult for it to understand or another person to understand, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what I'm thinking. Is there something out there? Because I don't know what it'd be if it is, or I'd be using it to organize the files that I have in the various formats from, PDF all the way through MPEG, MP4s into categories. Oh, this is all about, the 7-minute conversation. Oh, this is all about, bullshit shareholder stuff or whatever it is. I mean, but it just categorizes things for you better. Because right now I got folders, but then I got a lot of shit that's not in a folder because I didn't save it to the folder. It's just in a random pile.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting thing that I noticed in one of the last times I went in, someone asked me to find a photograph in my photos. I can't remember what the hell they were asking for.
Oh, naming. Naming is another thing. I guess you could have somebody do that. Look at it and name it better for me.
Well, maybe, but someone was asking about a photo the other day. I think it's my dad. We were somewhere, and he asked about if I could find a photo on my phone. And I said, well, the problem is, and I'm just going to open it up because I can't remember how much I have, but my library had something like 45,000 recent photos. They're tagged recent. And
I don't even think I don't even think my 17-year-old stepdaughter has that many photos.
Oh man, because if I take a picture of something, remember I had a creative agency. If I take a picture of something, I'm like, it's, the composition wasn't correct. Like, the lighting wasn't correct. So anything I'm taking a picture of, even if it's not something worthwhile, I take like 30, like a bunch of different angles and pictures and shit. So I have so many pictures, and he was asking for a picture of something to see it. I can't remember what it was. And I'm like, okay, the only way is date. And I don't know what the date was because it was a long time ago. There was location because it was a map. So I literally typed in the search, and it found the bloody photo.
Oh, wow.
So its AI went in there and it found the photo that I'd never tagged, didn't ask for location, nothing. And that to me was a little bit freaky because then it knows, but I could not believe how accurate it was. And this is what I'm going to show. I just typed in bird. None of this is tagged. And it's like, here's pictures of, Pickle, our little parrot there. So he's super awesome. But there's other birds in there, but it found bird pictures when I typed in bird, and it was instant.
Yeah.
And I've never tagged a single thing. So that is super useful, but also like that's sort of weird. Actually, I wonder if I put in my own name, if it finds me. Well, photos of Blaine, it says 185. But I will show you this one because this is actually when I had hair, and
that don't even look like you.
Yeah, no, as a baby, I had hair, no beard, which was pretty rare. So, but it's interesting that like that is we are in the baby steps of AI. We are in the HTML Netscape or whatever version of AI. Can you imagine where this is going in the next few years?
That's an interesting thing to use virtual assistants for, because you're like going, right, it's getting it, but I've tried it, and I'll put truck because I'm looking for a specific picture I know I took, and it didn't find it, right? It just because the way the angle was, or it hadn't identified it as a truck or whatever it is. But
yeah,
if I needed that to happen, perhaps a VA could just, because it's time, right? It's all, yeah, there you go. Blaine showing trucks on his stuff. And I was looking for a specific picture, right? A specific picture of it, and didn't show up. I'm wondering if they could put in some other detail. Look at the picture, put in a little bit more detail, that it would always show up, right, to the picture, or it'd be always in the collection that you're looking for.
The thing that I think, like, if I do, okay, now here I put in truck orange, because I actually saw one of the trucks was orange, and it brought up a white moving truck. So it didn't pick that up right at all.
Yeah, but what's that orange to the left of it? There was something orange to the left of it.
Oh, was there?
I think. You showed it real quick, so I only saw a flash.
No, it's just a truck. Like, it's just a white truck. It's in Newport Beach, so it's not like Orange County or anything like that. This is the truck I found. But what I will say is, if I asked a person to find the pictures of my truck on my phone, because I want to see like a particular truck, there's 45,000 photos.
Oh, yeah, they're not going to find it. But I'm saying,
if
you just say, hey, listen, spend an hour, go through and put descriptions into what you see, it would be easier for you to go back and find it later.
It would be, but can you imagine how far would they how many photos could you write a description on if you were absolutely blazing fast?
Yeah, but that's what we're doing with websites now. That's what SEO, that's what all this stuff is. When you ask somebody to do SEO for you, every image has got to have not only just some metadata, it's got to have like an alt description for people that are, are blind and can't see what the picture is, but they get read what the description is. All of that has to be done, and it enhances, everyone's accessibility to information. The thing is, I ain't got time to go through and type all that shit in.
No, but this is the thing that I'm talking about. So let's say I had a virtual assistant that was a person, and they were tagging photos at 10 seconds a photo. That would still be 4,500 seconds. to, did I say that right? No, 4,500 pictures. What am I talking about here? I'm trying to put my finger on how long it would take to do
We
45,000.
we proved a long time ago you cannot do math on this podcast.
Not several beer in, it starts to fade.
No, I'm just saying. Remember, we like going, well, we're going to teach how to do this shit. I'm like, no, we're not going to do it on this podcast because we're not great at it on the podcast because nobody can follow what we're doing. There's no visual. No. There's no. Remember, I tried to screen share one time and fucked up the whole podcast.
No, but what I'm saying is that there's things now that, like, let's say photos, even probably songs, video clips, like the stuff. Is changed because it used to be. You remember this when you would buy a roll of film, and you would take like 24 pictures and a bunch of shit, and then you would take them over and get them developed and spend a few bucks a picture, and you would get them back, and then like you're like, well, I got 4 good pictures and it cost me blah blah blah. We're past the time where people can do some of this stuff. It's just it's impossible I could not hire an assistant at 45,000 pictures. Okay, let's look at it this way: 45,000 pictures, and let's say they did 20 days worth of work in a month. They would have to do 2,200 pictures if I tried to get them to classify them in a month. 2,200 pictures a day. So if I divided that by, let's say, even if they're doing 8 hours, they have to do 281 pictures an hour. It's not even possible. They would spend months doing what AI does in seconds.
You're going to go back in time and go, yeah, that probably doesn't matter today. I need the ones I took this year. You can say, hey, just catalog all the pictures I took this year. How many did you take this year?
This year, well, I'll take a look, but the problem still remains is that when I'm trying to find a picture, it probably isn't something from this year. That's why you're trying to find it, right? You're trying to go like, remember when we were at such and such, and if it's a location, at least I can find it.
Yeah. You start somewhere. I mean, they just go, and if that's what you want to pay somebody to do, we're not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. We're just going to have pictures that don't have data. that's all that's going to happen, right? But for me, I'm like going, there are some files. I'm like going, shit, I created a spreadsheet for this like 4 years ago. I don't have 45,000 files for you to go through. I might have 1,000. And dude, just you come in, you just go and you catalog these things. I mean, what are they? And put them in a folder where I can find them later.
No, I totally agree with you, but I just think that what I'm saying is that I think AI is not far from doing it so much better than a person that it could do in 30 seconds what a person could do in months. Right.
Yeah, but I got to wait for AI to do that. Right now, I'm like going, I need to find it next week. I need to find it, it's going to enhance my course when I do a 2-day seminar, December 8th and 9th. AI, I can't wait for them to do it. I need somebody to go through and say, hey, find me everything on, I don't know, the Financial Gap. And they'll go through all 1,000 files and find everything on the Financial Gap.
I think I would honestly, I'll be completely honest. There's a lot of AI tools that I've never explored. If you wanted to do that, I would take a look at an AI solution first. Yeah. Because I have a feeling it would do a better job. Chad would probably do a better job, and like at it for like $20. Like it's ridiculous how fast it can do this stuff.
How could Chad find files on my computer? Tell me. I don't know how to use it that way.
Oh no, I'm saying like an AI solution.
Oh,
if I don't know if I can plug in Chad to do that, but I'll tell you, like Apple is pretty good at this stuff, right? Search, I think for Apple is probably pretty good, and they're really messing around that much with stuff yet. But I couldn't tell you how many files I have on my computer. But I'm pretty sure if I went to a person and said, go through my files and find something on X, it's not going to go well. If I ask Apple, because I have probably 50,000, well, more because I have 45,000 photos on my phone, which means I got probably 45,000 photos on my computer, plus all of my files. What do I want to do? Do I want somebody to tag it or do I want to go in and search? Because Apple does kind of a contextual search right now, so it's still going to find it faster.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, so give me an example of when you would hire a virtual assistant if you're listening to this podcast, because I think that's what we're talking about.
Well, no, but I think that's the thing. There's a huge barrier. Well, when you call it virtual assistant, though, I think I was looking at it a little bit broader of going, a virtual assistant could be an AI assistant that can help me do all of this stuff. And there's some things that AI can do, but there's places AI is not very good at, and it's not good at relationships. It's not good at context. It's not. So let's say you had to book factors that a computer doesn't know about, and relationships and all this other stuff, right?
All right, so if I get to the point where I'm coaching, I'm consulting, I'm also doing sales calls, I would love the fact where I could just dictate, hey, this is what happened on this call, send them a follow-up email about this and help me research these things that they wanted to know about, right? I think your VA should be able to say, craft the email, get it ready for follow-up, and do the research for you. Oh yeah, Mike, you already have, or I'll tell them, I need this file, and this file as an attachment to the email. I think
there's a level of complexity that what you want, and you don't want to trust a digital assistant, I guess. But you've already seen, I know you've seen it because I've seen it. I've had meetings where people show up to a meeting and their AI engine shows up to the meeting to take notes, and they record it and everything else, but it takes notes. And that's a starting point, and you could deliver that to the person so it'd almost be a combo, right?
All right, so here's what I'm thinking I'm going to do if it ever happens. I'm going to give a recorded video that I've already done to AI and say, to this meeting, send your robot to deliver this video, the content of this video, because everybody else is sending their robot to take notes. So I'm like going, I think we're going to have just meetings where no humans involved. And it's the instructor or the person leading the meeting has his robot, and everybody else that's there has their robot, and they just get cliff notes at the end of the meeting.
It'll happen. If it's not already happening, it'll happen for sure.
All right. So, and I am not anti-technology. It will be the dumbest thing ever because you would now, all right, it won't be the dumbest thing ever if you program your bot to already have questions going forward. I want to know these things. If they don't answer these questions in the meeting, ask them. And then the robot does this but then the other person has to have their robot go, well, I think they're going to ask these questions. If they ask these questions, here's the answers, right? Yeah. You got to train both robots to ask and answer.
Yeah.
So you get what you want to out of the meeting.
Oh yeah, and you know that at the point, it's just right around the point that those robots will be able to talk with themselves and be really effective is when they like destroy mankind, like every movie ever with AI.
It won't, because they won't be able to do anything. Nobody's created the mobile robot yet that can take a thought and convert it to an action or a structure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's not that far. Oh, but do you really know? Have they done that yet or not? Like,
well, I mean, they got these guys. I mean, I've seen the robots that can jump and run and fight and shoot weapons and stuff like that. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe. Can they execute on a sales plan?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's some things that like a sales plan is so relationship based, but it depends what you're selling, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, when you go robot to robot, then you got to program your robot to have a personality that my robot likes. Or does that matter? Does that
It
maybe
probably
not
doesn't
matter
matter.
anymore? Huh?
Probably doesn't matter. Like, let's say, okay, you probably couldn't say like, robot, go find me a house, because you have so many things you really want out of a house, right? Like there's details, right? But if you said to your robot, go buy me some toothpaste, and the robot goes to the other robot and says, what's your best toothpaste and what's your best price? Oh, well, this one has cavity protection and da da da, and it's very commoditized. Then maybe it's going, okay, just give me the best price and I'm going to buy it.
No, but the thing is, it won't know your taste structure. You might hate the taste of Colgate versus Crest charcoal.
Yeah, but so would a live person know what you like?
No, that's why toothpaste toothpaste is like sleep. You know what you can't share? Sleep. You can't share it, right? I can't. I don't care how much sleep I have. I cannot share it with you, right? So that's why when I think, how long you let me sleep is just how long I'm going to sleep, because we can't share it. Same thing with toothpaste. Because I've had other people's toothpaste, and I go, "Oh God damn! How do you put that in your mouth?"
Okay, so toothpaste might be the wrong answer. Okay, but let's say you said, "Can you go buy me some table salt?"
Oh, yeah, table salt should be good.
You're good to go. So there's some things that require no thinking, and it's just price. It's all price and availability and quick delivery. A robot could do that. But the more it gets into taste, like I would never go to a robot and say, buy me beer. But at what point could I train? Maybe I can today. Could I train Chad and say, these are my favorite
Yeah, I like these
beers? Or maybe not my favorite. Like these, I like these beers. Go find me a barrel aged stout based on these beers. Could it find it? Maybe it could. Maybe it could. If I fed enough useful information into it, maybe it could. If I just said beer, no, it can't. But if I said, here's like Hubbard's Cave, and here's some Prairie, and here's some Bottle Logic, and here this, and you like list a whole bunch. Avery, some really good barrel aged stuff. List a few of these stouts. Can it go find me stuff that I might not have found on my own?
I agree. And this is about the time when my virtual assistant would tap me on the shoulder saying, "Hey, you guys should end the podcast."
Yeah, we've been BSing probably more than we've been businessing today.
All right. So, hey, no problem. I mean, what you've been listening to, though, is a classic example of business, beer, and bullshit combined with Mike and Blaine, because we have sponsors like Larry Weinstein, like Neighbor Pat, like Rachel Barnett of Gentle Frog, and you could be next. So I want to say, hey, thanks, Blaine. What do you got to say?
Thanks, man. Next week, 118. I'm not sure how many we're going to get before the end of the year, but it'll be like over 125. Like I'm doing the math of the weeks in my head. This has been pretty awesome to be in the triple figures this year and getting people listening and beer sponsors. It's been so much fun. So thanks everyone for your support. Again, make sure you follow us. Make sure you like us, subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. If you have any ideas that you want us to talk about, we always got ideas. Don't worry about it. But we welcome you telling us some of the things that you're thinking about as a business owner these days. And same thing as we always love beer sponsors. I will say, if you own a brewery, you should be a beer sponsor, because all you have to do is buy us beer, and we will promote the hell out of you just by buying us some beer.
Easy. And I've got to tell you, we're going into season 4. Most TV shows don't make it to season 4.
No.
Yeah.
No. I think WKRP, I'm pretty sure they only had 4 seasons, and it was brilliant. And I can never find it on streaming. So if anyone knows where I can stream WKRP, let me know, because I love that show. And it's coming up on Thanksgiving. That's why I'm thinking of it. Top of mind, it's the turkey episode. Right. If you haven't seen it, you got to watch it.
Another helicopter. Yeah.
Exactly. As God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly.
All right. Hey, another great one in the books, 117. We will see you next week. Oh, no, not next week. We're going to take it off.
Oh yeah, next week's Thanksgiving. Okay, so we will probably take the week off unless you can do like another day, like Wednesday or something. We'll see. But otherwise, enjoy Thanksgiving. Enjoy Black Friday. Come and check us out at Dry Run on Black Friday, and we will be back. We'll be back soon.
Check out their website at mikeandblaine.com. Then subscribe to the podcast and buy these guys a beer.